The babysitter from the star Shara had seen warlords, smugglers, and telepathic beasts, but nothing had prepared her for a human child. She stood tall with her forearms folded, her smooth purple skin glowing under the twin suns, staring at the tiny boy who sat cross-legged on the floor, eating cereal with his hands. His name was Timmy, and he was trouble from the moment he arrived. The Galactic Cultural Exchange Program had assigned Zara to host a young human for one rotation cycle. It was meant to be a peaceful exchange, a way for both species to understand each other better. She had accepted with pride, thinking it would be simple babysitting. Timmy, however, had different plans. The first 5 minutes were calm. Timmy looked around her crystal home with wide eyes, asking innocent questions about glowing rocks and floating furniture. Zara showed him his room, gave him rules, explained which buttons not to press. Then she turned away for just 1 second. By the time she turned back, he was gone. Panic hit her stomach like a stone. Zara searched the halls, the garden, even the ceiling panels. She found him riding her vacuum drone like a hoverboard, zooming through the halls while screaming, "This is awesome!" When she finally caught him, her clean white robe was covered in dust, and her antenna twitched with stress. "You must follow the rules," she said sharply, holding him by the arm. Timmy just looked up and grinned. "You didn't say I couldn't ride the vacuum," she blinked, trying to find a reply. In truth, she hadn't said that. Later that evening, Zara tried to prepare dinner. Her culture used nutrient crystals that dissolved into energy cubes. Timmy, however, had smuggled a bag of Earth snacks from his transport pod. She caught him dipping chocolate bars into spicy Zell paste and using one of her priceless crystal cups as a jelly holder. "You cannot eat like this," she said, snatching the cup away. "But I'm making fusion food," Timmy replied proudly. "It's called Choco Fire Ooze." He offered her a bite. Zara refused, but later that night, curiosity made her try. A little. It was horrible and delicious at the same time. At bedtime, Zara gave him a soft glow pillow and a gravity blanket. Timmy said he couldn't sleep without hearing raindrop sounds, like on Earth, so he hacked her wall console and installed a storm simulator. Now the room thundered while fake rain poured on her meditation rug. Zara tried to stay calm, but her tail twitched every few seconds. In the morning, she woke to find blue goo dripping from the ceiling. Her living room had been turned into a giant art project. Timmy had discovered her cleaning slime pods and decided to paint with them. The walls were covered in sticky drawings of aliens, robots, and one strange creature that looked like her with giant bunny ears. "You have no respect for order," she muttered while scrubbing the wall with 2 of her arms. Timmy handed her a drawing. "That's you. Look, I gave you a crown." Zara looked at the messy crown on the paper, her own image smiling. Something warm flickered in her chest, but she quickly pushed it down. Later that day, she brought out a book of galactic history, hoping to teach him something educational. Instead, Timmy used the pages to build a paper spaceship. When she scolded him, he made the spaceship fly across the room using her telekinetic wind orb. He called it the SS Zara and made explosion sounds while diving behind furniture. Zara tried not to laugh, but a small snort escaped her throat. "You laughed," Timmy pointed. "You like me." "I did not laugh," Zara replied quickly. "That was a respiratory reflex." "You're funny," he said, then suddenly hugged her leg. Zara stood frozen, unsure what to do. No one had hugged her in years, not since her clan scattered across the stars. That night, as she sat alone reviewing the galactic rulebook, she heard giggling from the hallway. Timmy had somehow reprogrammed her house security drone to project silly faces and dance. Instead of punishment, she watched from a distance, silent. His laughter echoed off the glowing walls like soft music. Zara wasn't sure what this human child truly was. He was loud, messy, and broke every rule. But he also brought something unexpected into her home joy. She whispered to herself, "What are you, little earthling?" And from the other room, Timmy called back, "I'm your favorite human." Duh, Zara smiled. Just a little, just once. But it was the first smile she had made in a long, long time. Galactic rules versus human trick. Zara was a creature of order. Every hour in her home followed a set rhythm: meditation, work, nourishment, reflection. Her ancestors believed structure brought peace. Timmy believed structure was something to break with style. On the second day, Zara made a list. She stood over Timmy with her tablet, using all four arms to gesture as she explained: wake up, dress, eat, clean, learn, nap, then quiet play. She said calmly. Timmy blinked. That's boring, he muttered. It is efficient, Zara replied firmly. Timmy grinned and said, I bet I can do all that out of order. She underestimated how serious he was by noon. Timmy had put on his pajamas and declared it bedtime. He poured fruit paste over his homework, claiming it was breakfast art. When Zara demanded answers, he pointed at her schedule and said, Look, I'm still doing everything, just creatively. Zara sighed, her left eye twitching gently. She tried to take control. She used her translator orb to play calming alien music, programmed the lights to match a concentration color palette, and even released a meditation mist into the air. Timmy stared at the mist, sneezed twice, and then ran out the room screaming. A ghost farted. Later that cycle, she found him trying to ride her floating bookshelf. You will not damage my furniture, she warned, pulling him down with her upper arms. I wasn't damaging it. I was giving it a test drive, Timmy said with innocent eyes. That's when she locked the controls to every system in the house. No more funny business, she thought. But within 30 minutes, the lights flashed rainbow colors. The cooking unit started dancing, and her translator orb began beatboxing. Zara ran to the command panel and gasped. Timmy had bypassed her entire system using an Earth device shaped like a plastic dinosaur. How did you even connect that? She demanded. It's Bluetooth, Timmy said proudly. You aliens never thought about dinosaurs with Wi-Fi. Security mode activated on its own, scanning Zara as if she were the intruder. Timmy watched from the couch, sipping juice with a smirk. You should update your firewall, he added. Zara's hands curled into fists, but not from anger, confusion, frustration, and something else, curiosity. The next day, she took him to the Galactic Learning Dome. It was one of the most advanced institutions in the sector. No one had ever been expelled from it until now. 10 minutes after arrival, Timmy had changed all the holodisplays to show Earth cartoons. He asked if he could trade his math lessons for recess and ice cream. When denied, he organized a student protest using a megaphone he built from a lunch tray and a juice box. By the time Zara arrived, the alien instructors were hiding under desks. Timmy stood on a chair, shouting, "Freedom for fun," while waving a sparkly flag made from chewing gum wrappers. Zara dragged him out as the fire alarm blared behind them. On the hovercar ride home, she didn't speak. Timmy looked up and asked, "Did I go too far?" She didn't answer, but her lip twitched slightly, almost like it wanted to smile back home. Zara called the program administrator. "This human is incompatible with structure," she said through clenched teeth. "You signed the contract." The reply came, "You must complete the full cycle." Zara looked at Timmy, who was now teaching her pet lizard to wear sunglasses. "I may not survive," she whispered. That night, Zara tried to meditate in silence, but in the background, she could hear Timmy singing an Earth song about peanut butter and dancing. She marched to his room, opened the door, and froze. Timmy had created a puppet show using socks and glowing pebbles. He was alone, performing for imaginary friends, telling a story about a brave alien lady who rescued a lost human boy. "She was scary at first," his puppet said, "but then I realized she was just lonely." Zara didn't enter. She just stood there, her heart's beating quietly. The next morning, Zara didn't wake him with alarms. Instead, she made his favorite Earth breakfast from memory: scrambled blue eggs and sweet paste. Timmy opened one eye, surprised. "You didn't yell today," he said. "I'm adapting," she replied, handing him a plate. He took the food and whispered, "You're the best babysitter ever." Zara walked away, her chest strange and warm. In her mind, she still wanted order, peace, quiet, but in her heart, she was beginning to wonder maybe chaos had its own beauty, and maybe this tiny human, this mischievous force of nature, was teaching her more than she realized. The Forbidden Store. Zara had one rule that never changed. One door in her home stayed locked at all times. Behind it was her meditation chamber, a sacred space filled with ancient relics, energy stones, and memory spheres passed down from her ancestors. No one was allowed inside, not guests, not drones, and certainly not mischievous earth children. She warned Timmy on the first day. "This door is forbidden," she had said, placing a glowing symbol above the lock. Timmy stared at it with wide eyes and nodded silently. That silence did not last long. Now on their fourth day together, Timmy had already asked about the door 5 times. "Does it lead to treasure? Are there monsters inside? Is it where you sleep upside down like a bat?" Zara answered each question with the same response: "No," and stopped watching Earth movies. But curiosity burns hotter when told no. Especially in the heart of a human child. Zara left for just 10 minutes, stepping outside to speak with a neighbor about food deliveries. When she returned, she found silence, not peaceful, but suspicious. Timmy's room was empty, the living room untouched, the pet lizard asleep on the ceiling fan. Then she noticed the symbol above the Forbidden Store. It was dim, fading, almost like someone had touched it. Her heart dropped. She ran to the door and slammed her hand on the panel. It slid open, and what she saw inside froze her in place. Timmy stood in the center of her meditation chamber, wearing an ancient ceremonial crown. Glowing stones hovered around him in soft orbit, each one responding to his presence like they were drawn to him. One memory sphere, untouched for 100 cycles, floated toward him and opened, releasing a pulse of light. "What are you doing?" Zara cried, rushing forward. Timmy jumped, nearly dropping the crown. "I was just looking," he said quietly. It opened by itself. Zara grabbed the crown gently but firmly and placed it back on the pedestal. "These relics are older than your planet's cities," she whispered, her voice shaking. "They are sacred." Timmy's eyes lowered. "I didn't mean to mess things up." Zara opened her mouth to scold him again, but paused. She looked around the chamber. The energy stones were humming. Not in warning, but in harmony. The memory sphere was still glowing, slowly replaying an image her ancestors standing in a circle, holding hands with a human. A human. Zara had never seen this memory before. She stepped closer, watching the ancient human share light with her people. "Impossible," she whispered. "This history is unknown to us." Timmy peeked up. "Is that me?" "No," Zara said slowly. "But it could be someone like you." She placed her hand over the memory sphere and let it close. The relics dimmed, the hum softened, and the crown gently returned to its resting place. The room fell silent again, but something had changed, not just in the chamber, but in Zara's heart. Back in the living area, Zara handed Timmy a warm crystal drink to calm his nerves. He sat quietly, hands around the mug, no jokes, no mischief. "I just wanted to know what made you so serious all the time," he said softly. "I thought maybe your secrets would help me understand you." Zara sat across from him, her posture relaxed for the first time in days. "My people believe in control, in order," she said. "The things in that room remind us of who we were, before chaos changed us." Timmy tilted his head. "Is chaos always bad?" Zara didn't answer right away. Instead, she said, "You opened that door without permission." "I'm sorry," Timmy whispered, "but you also opened something else." She added, "A memory we forgot." He looked up, surprised. "Does that mean I'm not in trouble?" Zara smiled, the edge of her lip curling gently. "You're still grounded," she said, "but maybe I'll teach you about the artifacts properly, one by one." Timmy's eyes lit up. "Even the glowing sword?" "Especially the glowing sword," Zara replied, raising one brow. "But no touching," Timmy saluted. Yes. Captain Forearms. That night, Zara didn't lock the meditation chamber. She placed a single energy stone by Timmy's bed, small, harmless, softly glowing. He stared at it like a child staring at a nightlight. Thanks, he mumbled as he drifted to sleep. Outside his room, Zara looked up at the stars through her ceiling dome. She thought about the memory, about the ancient human, about fate and forgotten truths, and about the Earth boy who had just changed something buried for centuries. She whispered to the stars, "Who are you, Timmy?" in his sleep. The stone pulsed with gentle light, and Zara felt deep down that her life would never be the same. Again, trouble comes knocking. The morning started too quiet. Zara noticed it instantly. There were no thumps from the hallway, no juice spills, no screams of, "It wasn't me." Timmy was sitting calmly at the table, eating his breakfast with a spoon, an actual spoon. Zara narrowed her eyes, suspicious. "What did you do?" she asked slowly. "Nothing," Timmy replied, grinning a little too much. "Just being normal." That was the first sign something was wrong. The second sign came when the front door chimed. 3 high-pitched tones followed by a deep vibration. Zara froze. That was not a neighbor, that was official protocol. She opened the door to find 2 galactic exchange officers waiting. Both wore silver uniforms with stiff collars and emotionless faces. The taller one spoke first. "We've received multiple reports regarding your assigned human." Zara blinked. "Reports," she repeated, already feeling the headache building. The second officer tapped on his holopad. "Hacked a satellite transmission tower." He began. "Sent a galactic-wide message requesting Earth pizza with extra cheese. Temporarily blocked 3 trade routes due to prank messages. Disrupted a public learning dome. Started a food fight on a transport ship." Zara stared at them, stunned. "Wait, a transport ship?" she asked. "When did he leave the house?" The officers both looked up from their reports. "You didn't know." Zara turned around slowly. And there was Timmy, holding his pet lizard like a teddy bear, waving. "Hi," he said sweetly. "Are those your space uncles?" Zara's voice dropped into a whisper. "Why did you contact Earth?" Timmy shrugged. "I wanted pizza." "You risked intergalactic conflict for cheese." "Well, yeah," he said, "but also because I was a little homesick." Zara opened her mouth, then closed it. She didn't know what to say. The officer stepped forward. "We're taking him back to the human sector for re-evaluation." Zara's fingers clenched. "That won't be necessary," she replied, standing in their way. The taller officer frowned. "You are within your rights to reject him, Madam Zara." "I'm not rejecting him," she said, voice sharper now. "He stays," Timmy blinked, shocked. You're not sending me back." Zara didn't look at him. "I haven't finished teaching him how to fold towels," she said dryly. The officers exchanged a glance, then slowly stepped back. "You accept full responsibility." "I always have," she replied firmly. As the door closed behind them, the silence returned. Timmy stood in the middle of the room, his small hands holding the hem of his oversized shirt. "Why did you defend me?" he asked, voice quieter than she had ever heard. Zara knelt down, her forearms crossing as she looked at him. "You're my chaos," she said softly. "But you are mine." He didn't say anything. He just ran forward and hugged her tight, hard, like he didn't want to let go. For the first time, she returned the hug without hesitation. Later that day, she upgraded the house security system, not to keep him in, but to track his movements with friendly alerts. Each time he entered a room, a gentle voice whispered, "Young human detected." Timmy loved it. He started walking in and out of rooms just to hear it again and again. Zara pretended to be annoyed, but she secretly changed the voice setting to call him Little Trouble. That evening, Zara prepared a calm meal, 3 spice gels and 2 energy cubes with berry mist. Timmy stared at it with big eyes. "Can I cook tomorrow?" he asked. Zara nearly dropped her fork. "You," she said, "cook. I can make something." "Amazing," Timmy promised. "Earth tradition mac and cheese." Zara didn't know what that was. she agreed hesitantly. The next morning, the kitchen was a disaster zone. There was flour on the ceiling, glowing goo in the sink, and something was melting. Timmy was wearing a chef's hat made of napkins, holding a spoon like a sword. "Ta-da!" he shouted. "I call it galactic mac explosion." Zara looked at the mess, then at him, and she laughed loud freely. With all four shoulders shaking, Timmy looked proud. "You laughed again," he said. "Stop keeping score," she replied, wiping a tear. That night, as they sat on the floor eating his strange, spicy, cheesy creation, Zara looked at him. His hair was messy, his shirt stained, his feet swinging back and forth. And she thought about the officers, about the reports, about the rules she used to follow without question. Then she thought, maybe this child didn't break her life. Maybe. He cracked it open so the light could finally come in. The Chaos Festival Zara had survived interplanetary battles, starship malfunctions, and even a surprise inspection from the High Council. But nothing scared her more than the two words that came from Timmy's mouth that morning. "Can I come?" he asked, eyes shining. Zara froze, still holding a ceremonial robe in one hand. "Come where?" she replied carefully. "To the Harmony Festival," Timmy said. "You know, that big glowy thing you're always talking about." Zara almost dropped the robe. The Harmony Festival was the most sacred event on her planet. A celebration of balance, stillness, tradition, and most importantly, silence. Children under 20 cycles weren't even allowed unless they could float during meditation. "You cannot attend," she said immediately. "It is a deeply serious event," Timmy pouted. "But I'm very serious." "No," Zara said firmly. "Please. No. Please. No. Please. No." 5 minutes later, Zara was helping him button up a formal vest made for toddlers with tails. At the entrance of the festival grounds, she gave him one final warning. "No running," she said. "No snacks. No touching floating objects. No mimicking the elders. No random singing. No jokes. No fireworks." Timmy raised his eyebrows. "Fireworks weren't even on my list." "They are now," she replied. The Harmony Festival was held in a giant crystal field under glowing moons. Beings of all species floated, meditated, and hummed in perfect unity. Sacred energy ribbons flowed between pillars, creating soft music through vibration. Timmy walked in and whispered, "This looks like a really expensive concert." Zara gave him the look, the one that meant, "Breathe wrong, and I teleport you home." She led him to the sitting area, and they joined the silent circle of participants. Zara closed her eyes, inhaled the cool night air, and began to hum in perfect tune with the others. She felt peace entering her mind, until she heard a giggle. Her eyes snapped open. Timmy had somehow reprogrammed one of the energy ribbons to play a jingle from Earth. The hums were now backed by a catchy theme song about cereal. Zara's jaw dropped in horror. Gasps echoed around the circle. Timmy looked around and whispered, "Oops." Before she could react, he stood up on the glowing platform, raised his arms, and shouted, "Ladies and aliens, welcome to the first ever intergalactic dance-off." Then he activated something behind his back, and a dozen tiny projectors exploded with lights, shapes, and glittery holograms of dancing cats. One elder fainted, two floated into trees. Zara leapt to her feet. "Timmy," but something unexpected happened. A child in the crowd laughed, then copied Timmy's dance. Then another joined, and another, until half the younglings were twirling with glowing ribbons. Even some of the adults cracked smiles. The music shifted from sacred to silly, but the air filled with warmth, movement, and joy. For the first time in centuries, the Harmony Festival was alive, not just peaceful, but playful. Zara stood in the middle of the chaos, hands on her head, not sure whether to scream or laugh. Timmy danced past her with a pair of glow sticks and yelled, "This is the best day of my life." The elders approached her slowly, their expressions unreadable. "I am sorry," she said, bowing. "He is unpredictable." One elder raised a hand. "He has embarrassed our tradition." Zara lowered her gaze. But, the elder added, he also reminded us of something. She looked up in surprise. For many cycles we have called it the Harmony Festival, he said, but we forgot that harmony includes joy, chaos, laughter, even noise. Another elder chuckled, brushing glitter off his robe. Let the child dance, he said. Perhaps it's time our traditions dance too. Zara turned to look at Timmy, who was now giving her pet lizard a glitter crown. She sighed, then smiled. Maybe harmony wasn't the absence of mess. Maybe it was balance between calm and chaos, between stillness and motion, between alien and human. That night, the festival ended with something new, a group dance led by Timmy and approved by the elders. It was clumsy, loud, and full of mistakes. It was also the happiest the festival had been in generations. Back home, Zara tucked a tired, glitter-covered Timmy into bed. He looked up at her with sleepy eyes. I was good today, he mumbled. You were something, she replied. He smiled. Will you tell them next year that I can come again? Zara nodded slowly. Yes, she whispered. I think they'll expect you. As he drifted to sleep, Zara turned off the lights. And in the dark, she whispered to herself, next year, I'll pack extra glitter. Asterisk. When he vanished, the house was too quiet. Zara knew something was wrong the moment she stepped into the main chamber. No noise, no bouncing, no humming, no smell of burned food or exploding slime toys. Just stillness. Timmy was gone. She checked the kitchen, his room, the ceiling vents, the pet lizard's basket. Nothing. Even the hallway monitor was blank, no movement recorded for over 2 hours. That had never happened before. She pressed her communication crystal and called his name. Timmy, respond, she said, keeping her voice steady. Silence. Only the soft hum of background energy. Zara's hands began to tremble. She tried to think logically. Maybe he wandered outside to play. Maybe he was napping in a corner. Maybe this was just another one of his pranks. But her gut twisted. She activated the tracker she secretly installed on his bracelet. The signal blinked once, then vanished. Offline, Zara's breath caught in her throat. The only way that could happen was if the bracelet was removed. Her vision sharpened, and something ancient inside her awoke. Not the calm teacher, not the patient caretaker, something deeper, protective, dangerous. She stormed out of the house, eyes glowing, ready to tear the sky apart. She searched the market square first. Vendors had seen him laughing, buying sweet snacks with pebbles he called space coins, but none had seen where he went. Then she went to the cliff gardens. One elder said they spotted a small human walking toward the crystal ridge alone. Zara didn't wait for more details. She flew, using her jump lift boots to launch across rooftops and hover over traffic. Every second mattered by the time she reached the ridge. Night had fallen. The moons glowed above, and wind whispered through the tall grass. She called his name again and again, her voice breaking now. Timmy, Timmy. Then she saw it. A small figure curled up near the edge, holding something close to his chest. She ran forward and dropped to her knees. It was him, sleeping, with a folded drawing pressed to his chest. Zara grabbed him, shaking gently. He blinked awake, eyes confused, then calm. Zara, he whispered. You came. I always will, she said, her voice thick. Why did you leave? She asked, holding him close. I heard the officers say I was trouble, he mumbled. I thought if I disappeared, you could have peace. Zara didn't speak right away. She looked at the drawing he held. It showed her standing beside him with 4 hearts drawn above their heads. In crayon, he had written, my family. She closed her eyes. No, she said softly. You do not bring me trouble, Timmy. You bring me life. He blinked slowly. I missed Earth for a while, he admitted. But now I think I'd miss you more. Zara carried him home in her arms, like a warrior carrying something sacred. Back at the house, she made his favorite earth drink choco warm, with a glowing straw. They sat together in silence, side by side, no words needed. After he fell asleep, Zara watched him quietly. She finally understood. He didn't just need a babysitter. He needed a guardian, a friend, a family, and maybe so did she that night. She sent a message to the Galactic Exchange. She didn't ask for permission. She told them, "The human child is no longer a temporary assignment. He is mine." One last prank and a forever bond. Zara was prepared to say goodbye. She told herself over and over, this was how the program worked. A cycle ends. The human child returns to Earth, and the host resumes their normal life. But nothing felt normal anymore. Timmy had become more than just her responsibility. He had become part of her day, her air, her strange, messy, beautiful routine. But the Galactic Exchange shuttle was arriving, and the officials were coming to take him home. She dressed him in his cleanest outfit, one she had custom made. It didn't look like a human suit or alien robes, just something between. Something that looked like him. He wore it proudly, even as his shoulders slumped. "You don't have to walk me to the platform," he said quietly. "I will," Zara replied. All the way, at the departure site, a silver ship hovered gently above the landing zone. A loading ramp descended slowly, humming like a heartbeat. Two officials stepped out, clipboard in hand. Zara stood tall, her face unreadable, but her lower hands clenched behind her back. Timmy gave her one last look. "I'm gonna miss you so much, it's gonna hurt," he whispered. Zara didn't speak. Her throat refused to move. He turned to walk toward the ramp. One step, two, three. Suddenly, alarms blared, lights turned red, and a mechanical voice shouted, "Warning, unauthorized stasis lock detected." Zara blinked. "What?" The officials fumbled with their scanners. "It's coming from the shuttle." Timmy stopped at the top of the ramp, holding a strange device in his hand, one of her broken cleaning bots, rewired into a signal scrambler. He smiled. "Oops." Zara ran toward him. "What did you do?" "I jammed the ship," he said proudly. "It can't leave for 10 cycles. "Why?" she asked, part angry, part impressed. "Because you never said I couldn't," he grinned. "And because I wanted one last day." The officials called for backup. Zara stepped between them and Timmy without thinking, her eyes glowing slightly. "You can take him tomorrow," she said calmly. "After we finish our last lesson." One officer raised a brow. "And what would that be?" Zara looked at Timmy and smiled. "Family." They spent that final day doing everything they loved. They danced with the pet lizard, baked a cake that exploded twice, and wrote songs using kitchen pans and glowing pebbles. Timmy taught her how to say, "I love you" in 10 Earth languages. She taught him how to meditate without falling asleep. That evening, Timmy handed her a box. Inside was a handmade bracelet, beads made from food capsules, slime crystal, and a piece of his old shirt. Zara stared at it, speechless. "I made it messy," he said, "so it'll remind you of me." She hugged him tighter than ever before, all 4 arms wrapped around him. The next morning, the shuttle returned, this time fully functional. No tricks, no scrambling, no chaos. Timmy walked slowly up the ramp, one step at a time. He turned back just before the door closed. "I'll come back someday," he shouted. Zara nodded, holding back everything. "I'll be waiting," she replied. The door closed and the ship rose into the sky. Zara stood there long after it disappeared. She finally turned and walked home, the house echoing with the quiet he left behind. But when she opened the main chamber door, confetti exploded in her face. A recorded voice shouted, "You've been pranked. Love, Timmy." Zara blinked through the glitter storm and laughed deep. Real from her stomach, one last prank and a forever bond.